Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. All right, we've got Miles Morales back out on the board, Spider-Man, and we're going to do a run through of Sinister Six. So I've been really looking forward to this one. Let's see how this goes. I like having all of the villains in there. We've got a big stack of villains. Haven't really read too much about this one. Um, we're going to see how this goes. All right, I played Miles Morales once before. I think between him and Ghost Spider, Miles Morales is more the kind of character that I like. So we're going to go with him. I did want to stick with a Sinister Motives because I haven't played those characters all that much yet. So that's why I'm sticking with him. I thought about going outside the box for maybe a different character, but I think we'll stick with Miles Morales, and we've got the pre-constructed deck for him. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. We have Sinister Synchronization. So we've got Doc Ock, Electro, Hobgoblin, Craven, Hunter Scorpion, and Vulture. So that's the Sinister Six. I've got them. I've got Guerrilla Tactics, and the standard encounter sets are all mixed up and ready to go right here. All right, plus my obligation is in there also. All right. So we're going to choose X villains at random, where X is one more than the number of players. That math is pretty easy. That's 2. Put those villains into play. Place the active counter on the villain with the lowest activation order value and set the other villains aside. Put the light at the end side scheme into play. Trap side face up. All right. So we're going to grab 2 villains. I'm going to place the active counter on the villain with the lowest activation order value. All right, so let's see what that looks like. So I've got my stack of villains over here on the side. We're going to grab 1, 2 villains. Let's see who we got here. We have, boom, Craven. Hey, that's pretty cool. He's one of my favorites. So 1 scheme, 2 attack, activation order 4. After Craven the Hunter attacks and damages you, choose and discard 1 support or upgrade you control. Move the active counter to the next villain in activation order. When defeated, remove 4 threat from the side scheme, 7 threat if no other villain is in play. Set this villain aside. All right. So there's villain number 1. He's got 9 hit points. Wow, 9 hit points. I'm not used to playing against villains with that little health. But I guess if there's going to be a variety of them out there, you got a whole bunch of them to go through. That's what you're doing. All right. Villain number 2 is Hobgoblin. So he's got 2 scheme, 1 attack with, of course, a little star, activation order 3. So force response after Hobgoblin attacks and damages you, take 2 indirect damage, move the active counter to the next villain in activation order. When defeated, remove 4 threat from a side scheme, 7 threat instead if no other villain is in play. Set this villain aside. All right. So we're going to put Hobgoblin out here, and Hobgoblin's got 9 hit points also. 5, a 2, and a 2. Boy, we're going to use a lot of counters in this game. Got a feeling. All right. So that was 1A. Let's see here. Put those villains into play. Place the active counter on the villain with the lowest activation. So we've got activation order 3, activation order 4. So the lowest is going to be 3. We need some sort of token. We'll use this one. All right, we'll say that's the active villain token there. All right, what else do we have? It says put the light at the end side scheme into play. There we go. Light at the end side scheme. So we're going to put it into play. Trap side face up. Permanent hinder 10 per player. Players cannot win unless they escape. Force interrupt. When the last threat is removed from this scheme, resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme. Flip this card. The players can escape on the other side. So this is going to start with 20 threat on it because we've got 10 down here plus the 10 per player, right? So I think we're at 20. That seems like a lot. All right, 20. I need a 10. And let's go with a set of 2s down here at the bottom. That should fill me up to 20. 10. It'll make it easier to remove it if I got a bunch of 2s. So we'll go that route. That puts me at 20. All right. Do, 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 do. All right, so we did 1A. Let's see what 1B's got for us. So that's 1A. We went through all of that. Go over to 1B. So we got Sinister Synchronization. Ambush Special. Choose a set-aside villain at random. Put that villain into play and place the active counter on it. In expert mode, place 2 threat on light at the end. All right, we're not doing expert mode. Forced interrupt. When a villain would activate, if no villain is in play, resolve this card's ambush ability. Continue that activation. All right. So we'll put that into play right there. It's going to start with 2 on it. It's going to go up by 1 each round. All right. I think we're all set out here. We're ready to go. We're going to grab our top 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see what we got here. So Miles Morales' special action is, after you change to this form, shuffle 1 Spider-Man card from your discard pile into my deck. So I have to flip over into his form, which, you know, I start out in my alter ego form. And then I've got when I do these abilities, when I play these cards, I have some specials that allow, when I have some event cards that when I play them, allow me to do these special abilities. So that's what we'll be looking for. All right, get Miles into play. Whoa. And let's take a look at what we got here. So we've got 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we've got Double Life, Spider-Man, Field Agent, Homeland, Intervention, and Energy, and Monica Chang. All right, so Spider-Man is super cool. Web Warrior. After Spider-Man attacks or thwarts, choose another Web Warrior character and ready that character. Very awesome. Okay, we've got Homeland Intervention, which I don't think is going to do me any good. Exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. Choose a scheme. Remove 2 threat from that scheme for each card exhausted this way. Would be great, but I'm not going to have a whole lot of shield cards at the beginning here. Got Monica Chang. She says, after Monica Chang enters play, search your deck, hand, and discard pile for a copy of Surveillance Team Support. Put it into play. 1 Snoop counter on each that you control. So she's not going to actually do me a lot of good off the bat, but she is a shield character, which is good. Double Life, max once per round. Change your form if you paid for this card using a physical resource. Ready your identity. All right. We've got a Field Agent over here who's going to get 3 backup counters, and he's going to stop somebody from taking consequential damage by exhausting the Field Agent. I can prevent 1 damage. So that's pretty cool. All right. Let's see. We're going to get rid of the Homeland Intervention because I don't think that's going to do me any good. I kind of want to get rid of Monica Chang also because I think we're going to get... So the problem with Spider-Man here is I need to use 1 of each resource in order to get him out there. I don't have any physical resources right now. If I get rid of Monica, she is a mental resource, which is a little bit on the, would be bad to get rid of her. So I'm going to get rid of Double Life also. And we're going to draw 2 cards, and hopefully we come up with something good here. So 1, another Field Agent. 2, Agent 13. Oh, I don't know that I want to get rid of Agent 13. After Agent 13 attacks or thwarts, choose a shield support, ready that support. Oh man, she costs 4. I think Spider-Man's better than Agent 13. All right, I think we're set out here. We've got everything. We did our mulligan, so we've got all the cards that we're gonna get. I can actually get Spider-Man out that way. That would cost 3. It's not going to let me do anything else. I could play a Field Agent in addition, which would be good. All right, so we're going to flip on over to Miles Morales here, Spider-Man. I think we're going to get Spider-Man into play with Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man and Spider-Man into play. Boop. All right. And then we'll get our other field agent into play, put him over here. We're gonna put 3 counters on him. Oop, I'm putting him off screen. We want 3 counters. I'm gonna run out of counters so quick. All right. Now, what are we gonna do here? Right, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go grab a drink real fast, and then I'll be right back. So we're trying to figure out who to go with here. Now my choices are the activation counter's on Hobgoblin, so he's going to be the one that attacks this turn. What I can do, I've got this light at the end of the tunnel, and I really need to get threat off of that in order to win the game. Hobgoblin's going to attack me, and that's problematic. He's going to do some damage that's... there's no way I'm going to get around it, because I could defend against it. Actually, if I defend against it, I could... Well, actually, we don't have to worry about that till we get to the villain phase, because I'm going to ready up for that. So the big question is, do I attack, which I could end up getting 6 attack on one of these guys, which is going to almost take one of them out. Or I could work on the light at the end of the tunnel, and taking 6 off of that would be really great right off the bat. I'm not sure what the best way to go is, attack or thwart off of things. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with Spider-Man here first, which is the thing that makes sense. I think we're going to thwart 2 off of light at the end of the tunnel. All right. Then we're going to attack the Spider-Man here. He's going to take 1 consequential damage. We'll take 2 off of Hobgoblin. When he does that, it says choose another Web Warrior character, ready that character, so I can ready up Spider-Man over here. And we're going to use Spider-Man to, we'll take another 2 off of Hobgoblin. All right, we'll beat him up a little bit and get just a little bit down off light at the end of the tunnel. I really wish I could use my field agent here to prevent some of the consequential damage, but that only works for shield allies, and Spider-Man here is not a shield ally. All right, so we're done. We're going to draw back up to 5 cards. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that is a not great hand. All right, so we've got Global Logistics, which I'm going to exhaust 1 shield card you control. Look at the top 4 cards of the player. Counter deck, discard a number of those. Not thinking that's great. I also have one of these, which is exhaust up to 3 shield cards. Move 2 threat for each one exhausted. I've only got... Oh, Spider-Man isn't even a shield card. He's a champion and a Web Warrior. I thought he was shield, but he's not. So the only thing out there is going to be the field agent. Young Love is my team up with Gwen Stacy, and I have to be alter ego, so that's not going to go well. Hey, but I've got strength, so I've got 2 resources to play one of these 0 resource cards. Great. This is looking fantastic. All right, so we're going to go over the villain's turn. What's going to happen on the villain's turn? First thing going to happen is we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme because we've got 1 and a little up arrow there. 1 per player, so it's going to go up to 3. All right. We have Hobgoblin's got the activation counter, so he's going to go. Hobgoblin's going to see Spider-Man out there, so he's going to want to attack. So it says, after Hobgoblin attacks and damages you, take 2 indirect damage. And then I move the activation counter to the next villain. So if he doesn't damage me, then I wouldn't take that extra 2 indirect. So I think we're going to defend against that. We've got defensive 2. So he's attacking for 1. Hopefully we draw something small here and we get, yeah, something small there. No bonus. All right, so he attacks me for none. I don't have to worry about the indirect damage. This moves on over to Kraven the Hunter. All right. Next thing is we need to draw our encounter card. Let's see what we get. Encounter card is, boom, Gang Up. When revealed hero, the villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Oh, so Kraven's coming at me. And I exhausted. So that means he's going to get his full attack. Now I could throw Spider-Man in front of him. but I don't think I want to do that. I think we're just going to take the damage. Fortunately, that means I'm going to lose my field agent. I don't want to lose Spider-Man, so we're just going to take the damage. So he's attacking for 2. He's going to get a boost of 2 plus the special boost, which says in expert mode, this card gets +2 boost for this. Phew. All right, so teamwork makes the dream work, but luckily we're not in expert mode. Otherwise, we would be taking lots of damage. Instead, we're taking 4 damage, which is still pretty significant. That's close to half my health. And we have, after you attack and damages you, choose and discard 1 support or upgrade you control. So there's a support that is going to get discarded. So much for the field agent. Move the active counter to the next villain in activation order. All right, so we're back over here to the Hobgoblin again. All right, this is not starting well. All right, we're back over to the hero turn. What are we doing on the hero turn? Well, we have a whole lot of nothing that we can do. So I could have done a global logistics potentially, but that's not going to work because I don't have a shield card to exhaust at this point in time. All right. So I think what we do here is we attack with Spider-Man. We're going to knock Hobgoblin down to 3. When I do that, that readies up Spider-Man over here. I think he's going to go ahead and we're going to attack Hobgoblin and take him down to 1. All right, Craven's really annoying because he gets rid of my supports, but I don't have any in play, so I'm not too worried about that at this point. The other downside is I'm going to have to take a round here where I allow him to scheme. I could take another hit, but then I'm going to take a bunch of indirect damage. That's going to end up bad. So we're going to flip on over to Miles Morales. So after you change this form, shuffle 1 Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck. Did I even see? Oh, I did see 1 Spider-Man card. I've got double life. I can put that back in. All right. And then we're going to be done. I am going to discard everything but the strength. All right, so everything but the strength I'm going to discard. I'm going to go up to 6 cards. I'm going to exhaust all our stuff. Go back up to 6 cards. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that looks a little bit better. We got our web shooter. We've got a swing in, which says remove 4 threat from a scheme if I paid for it using mental resource or do my camouflage ability, which would be really nice. And I happen to have a genius. So next round's possibly looking up. We'll have to see how that goes because we've got a lot of threat here. Okay, let's see what happens here. All right, we're going over to the villain's turn. On the villain's turn, we put 1 threat on the main scheme. Yikes. Hobgoblin's got 2 for scheming. He's going to get a bonus of 2, so that's 4. And the Hobgoblin, we do the Sinister Synchronization is triggered. So let's see what happens when that goes off. We hit our 8, and it says forced interrupt. When a villain would, oh, nope, we're at the, there's nothing in there that goes off. All right, so we go over to 2A. I'm kind of good with that. So we'll see what 2A says. We have Sinister Beatdown. When revealed, choose a set-aside villain, put that villain into play, and place the active counter on it, even if another villain has the counter. If no villain was put into play this way, or this is expert mode, deal the first player 1 face down and counter card. All right, choose a set-aside villain, put the villain into play, and place the active counter on it. All right, so we're going to grab another villain. Let's get this out of the way. I'm going to need another tray out there. Oh, All right, so we're going to go like this. We're going to grab another villain, and we get Electro. Activation order 2. After Electro attacks and damages you, discard the top 7 cards of your deck. Move the one to the next. Move the active counter to the next villain in the activation order. Ay, ay, ay. So what's he got? He's got 8 hit points. Yikes. All right. So we're going to put 8 hit points on him. 5, 2, 1. We got any other bad things we need to worry about here? Let's see here. So we got the one revealed, blah, blah, blah. Don't care about that. So now we're over to here. So ambush. Wow, 3 per player. Ay, ay, ay. So we've got our ambush again. And then when a villain would activate if no villain is in play, resolve this card's ambush ability. All right. Okay, let's see here. Sinister Beatdown. It's going to start with 3 per player, unfortunately, and it goes out at 7. Okay. He gets the activation token. And we try to remember where we left off at. So that was Hobgoblin activating. So after Hobgoblin activates, we go to encounter cards. So encounter card number 1. Boom! From every direction. In expert mode, this card gains surge. We're not expert mode. So when revealed, place 1 threat on the main scheme for each enemy in play. 1, 2, 3 enemies in play. So we put 3 on the main scheme, and it's at 6 of 7. All right. This is not looking good. All right. It's gonna be a quick game. Luckily, the villains are done at this point. We're over to the hero turn. So what are we gonna do on the hero turn? All right. Got a strength, got a surveillance team, got a web shooter. A web shooter can get a field agent in there. Field agent isn't going to do me much good. Surveillance team would actually help me get rid of some of the threat on things. So I think we're going to go that route. So we're going to do 2 per surveillance team. Bring it into play, and it gets 3 Snoopy counters. All right, we're going to go ahead and use one of our Snoop counters to take 1 off of Sinister Beatdown. Okay. We are going to flip on over to Spider-Man. Oh, do I want to exhaust first and recover 4? I think that would be a good idea. So we're going to exhaust to recover 4. And then we're going to flip over to Spider-Man. All right, at this point in time, we're going to use our field agent, bring a web shooter into play. That's going to get 3 counters. 4 counters. I have all the counters out. 2 and 1. All right. Next up, we're going to use our genius to do a swing in. So swing in says, remove 4 threat from a scheme if you paid for this card using a mental resource. Do my camouflage ability. All right, so we're going to do 4 off of the Sinister Beatdown. Get that back under control. All right. Would have really loved to use that for the light at the end here and help us escape, but we need to build a little bit more. We're hurting pretty bad right now. Okay, next up, I think we have Spider-Man go ahead and attack again. And he's going to attack for 2 and take out the Hobgoblin here. All right. Hobgoblin says, when defeated, remove 4 threat from a side scheme, 7 threat if there's no other villains in play. Set this villain aside. So we're gonna set him back aside. I'm gonna go out, move my boards over. All right. Now I move 4 threat from a side scheme. So boop. Is that right? Move 4 threat from a side scheme. All right, light at the end is my only side scheme out there, so 4 threat off of that. Okay, so after he attacks or thwarts, choose another web warrior. Ready that character. Then he takes consequential damage, and Spider-Man's out of there. All right. Oh, I forgot to do my spider camouflage. So I give Spider-Man a tough status card, and I confuse an enemy. So we're gonna get tough. And let's confuse Electro. I think we'll confuse Electro. All right. Now I've got something I can do here. What is it that I want to do? Do I take 2 off the light at the end and try to work that down? Or do I work on beating down Electro? He's already confused. I really don't like that he removes a bunch of cards. Kraven's going to be really annoying because he gets rid of my upgrades, and really this is a build-out deck. So I'm so torn here. I want to beat on the villains, but I really need to get to the light at the end to get out of here. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll exhaust. We'll take 2 off the light at the end. All right. End of my turn. Unexhaust, unexhaust. We're going to draw 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we've got a defense mechanism that says after your hero uses a basic power, discard defense mechanism, resolve Spider-Man's spider camouflage ability. So that's an upgrade that goes out there. Like that. We've got global logistics. We've got a government liaison, 2 government liaisons. So government liaison is exhaust government liaison, place shield card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 1. And then our power within. So after your hero uses basic power, discard power within, resolves Spider-Man's Venom Blast, which is the one that does 2 damage and stuns an enemy. All right. Let's see here. And that's an upgrade also. Okay. We're done on our turn. We're going over to the villain's turn. On the villain's turn, we're going 1/3 on the main scheme. Oop. Electro. He's going to see Spider-Man out there. He's going to come to attack. So he's attacking for 1 and he gets a boost. So if he damages me, I have something that happens, but I've got tough, so he shouldn't damage me. So 1 plus our boost of none. It's a big 0. All right, but our tough goes away. All right, next up is our encounter card. Encounter card number 1, boom. Caught off guard. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. Okay. So what am I getting rid of? The surveillance team or the web shooters at this point? I think I'm getting rid of my surveillance team. And maybe I picked the wrong deck. Maybe I should have went with Ghost Spider against these villains here, because this is kind of rough. All my upgrades are going away. I can't really build. All right, but luckily that's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero's turn. Okay. So how do we want to work this? So I would like to actually get both of these into play. They're both upgrades and they can sit out there. I do kind of want to get a government liaison out there too, so I can't do everything that I want to do. So let's get 1 government liaison out there. Ooh, when Electro activated, Kraven should have the activation token now. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to exhaust our web shooter to generate a resource. Oop, not yet. So we can use our Venom Blast to stun an enemy. I think we're going to use that on Craven. So we're going to exhaust, and we're going to thwart 2 more off the light at the end of the tunnel. Ooh, wait. We have to do this in a different order. All right, so put 2 back on light at the end of the tunnel, unexhaust. All right, so we're going to use our web shooter, exhaust our web shooter to put our power within into play because it's an upgrade. It's not an event. All right, so we're going to get this upgrade out. Then we're going to exhaust to take 2 off the light at the end of the tunnel. And it says hero response. After your hero uses a basic power, discard power within, resolve Spider-Man's Venom Blast ability. All right, so now we do Venom Blast, which says deal 2 damage to an enemy, stun that enemy. All right, so we're going to stun Craven and deal 2 damage to him. All right, feeling better about that. That's the end of the turn. We're going to hold on to our defense mechanism there. And we're going to draw back up to 5 cards. Unexhaust, unexhaust. 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, so we've got a web shot. Web shot says deal 4 damage to an enemy. If you pay for this card using a energy resource, I get to do a Venom Blast. That could be good. Got Ghost Spider. I have to have a Web Warrior, which Spider-Man is, to get out there. Got Dum Dum Dugan, and Dum Dum Dugan is really cool. He costs 5, but when you tap him, you can't, or sorry, when you activate him, you can use up to 3 shield cards. You can exhaust him to get +1 for the power. So he could really help us cut down on some of the stuff out there. If I had field agents out there, they could help him not take damage also, but unfortunately, I don't. I do have a government liaison out there, which could reduce his cost by 1. That's good. I don't think we're going to do him into play yet. I think we'll hold on to him. Could get him out there, but I think the web shot and getting like the defense mechanism out there is going to be a little bit more important this round. All right. I may even end up getting rid of him and use him as a resource. We'll have to see. All right, so we're going to go over the villain's turn. First thing for the villain's turn, we're going to throw 1 on the Sinister Beatdown. Then Craven's going to see Spider-Man out there. He would attack, but he's stunned, so no attack. And we're going to go over to Encounter card. Encounter card is Coordinated Effort Side Scheme. Each enemy gains 1 acceleration icon. Place 1 threat on each, oh, so I don't have to worry about the boost. So each enemy gains 1 acceleration icon, and it's going to have 6 on it. All right. So that is an interesting card. I'm going to have to figure out how that works. So let's put 6 out there. So does that mean, I guess, I have acceleration attached to each of the bad guys? That's kind of gross. So acceleration, and I imagine I have to take them out in order to make those acceleration tokens go away. Wow. Okay. That makes playing the web shot super important. Because I need to get rid of one of those guys. So Craven attacked. So that's interesting. That's an interesting thing here. So Craven would attack, but he was stunned. It says, forced response after Craven the Hunter attacks and damages you. Choose and discard 1 support or upgrade you control. Move the activation counter. Oh, I think I may have missed something earlier. So when one of them schemed, I don't think I should have moved the activation counter. That might have been a thing. Craven was stunned, so he didn't attack. So I don't think I would move the activation counter at this turn. I don't know. There's another question for the crowd out there when you guys are looking at this. If he's stunned, does it not kick off the forced response? Because I don't think that happens at that point. So I think it's going to stay with him. That's the way I'm going to play it right now. Correct me if I'm playing wrong, but I think it stays with him. All right. So that was our encounter, this came out. Man, even if I get rid of that. Ugh, okay. We're over to the hero turn. We got to figure out what the heck we're going to do here. So I think I want a web shot. I think the web shot's going to be the better idea than getting Dum Dum Dugan out there. Yeah. I think we're going to use our government liaison here and our web shooter. Web shooter is going to generate an energy, and then we're going to do a web shot. It's going to do 4 damage to an enemy. If I pay for this card, I get to use my Venom Blast ability. And Venom Blast is going to deal 2 damage to an enemy and stun that enemy. So I'm going to do 4 damage from the web shot, then 2 damage and a stun. So if I do 4 to... Ooh, how do I want to break this up? 4 damage to an enemy, then I could do 2 damage to a different enemy and stun them. But if I do 6 damage, I can get to the point where I almost take them out, but then it kind of cancels it out because I take away the stun at the end of that. I think we're going to go ahead and take Kraven out. So we're going to do 4 damage to him, and then 2 damage plus a stun. So we're going to do 6 damage to him total. He's stunned. All right. We're going to Spider-Man's camouflage ability, which is tough status card and confuse an enemy. I think we're going to use Ghost Spider. Do we use Ghost Spider? Yes, we use Ghost Spider. We bring Defense Mechanism into play. So it's a hero response. Actually, we'll hold on to that because I don't want to get it out there yet. I don't know necessarily have to use it, but we're going to go ahead and attack with Spider-Man. We're going to take out Kraven the Hunter. All right, so Kraven's going to go away. There's our activation counter. Get our stunned back. Kraven goes away. When Kraven goes away, we have a when defeated, remove 4 threat from a side scheme. Ooh, so I could take it off the coordinated effort, but I don't know that it makes the advanced counters go away. So we're going to take it off of here. That's going to knock us down to 6 left on the light at the end. All right. We're exhausted. We took him out. This can get out of here for now. We got an activation token floating around. I'm guessing the activation token then goes back over here to Electro. And we're going to get Defense Mechanism into play. And we're also going to flip on over to Miles Morales. All right. And then after you change to this form, shuffle 1 Spider-Man card from your discard pile back into your hand. Oh, that web shot was really handy. I think we're going to throw that web shot back in there. Just because I kind of like doing damage. All right, I'm going to shuffle it up. And we're going to draw back up to 6 cards. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. Okay. Let's shuffle things around a little bit. We're going to move our Electro over a bit. Our Sinister Beatdown over. Light at the end over. And then I can move my coordinated effort up here. We'll shift our things over a little bit. All right, what's probably going to happen is I'm going to draw a card and it's going to make me shift all that back around anyway. But yeah, such is life. All right, we're going to have an acceleration out there. So we're going to put 2 on Sinister Beatdown. All right. Electro is going to see Miles Morales out there. He would scheme, but he's confused. So no scheming for Electro. We draw an encounter card. Encounter card is Advance. When the villain's going to scheme. Oh no! All right, so he schemes for 2. It's going to be the end of the game because I don't think there's anything I can do about that. Nope. Oh, 2 more plus a boost, which says give the villain 1 additional boost card for this activation. Oh, see, I thought it was safe. Look at that. So he's going to scheme for 3, 4, 5. He's going to scheme for 5. That schemes out Sinister Beatdown. So that is the end of the game. We lost. We got beat down. So we're going to drop another 5 on there. There's a big 5. So it shot up to 10 with Electro in the advance. Oh, dang it. All right. That did not go well for Miles Morales. I drew horribly. Can't believe I got that double resource and a bunch of cards out there that play off of shield cards when I had no shield cards in play. That was a horrible round for me. I thought I got things going into that last round there. I thought I was looking pretty good because we had this down fairly low, and then Electro was confused. I thought I had a good round to be alter ego, but that just blew it up with the advance and then all the stuff on top of that. The acceleration token. I thought things were just starting to look good, like I was going to recover, and it totally did not go that way. All right, so there are a few things I need to look up after this game with playing with these cards I need to figure out. So one of them is coordinated effort here. So it says each enemy gets 1 acceleration icon. So I'm assuming, what I don't know is, do they get that and it stays on them? And if I make coordinated effort go away, they maintain the acceleration icon? Or if I make coordinated effort go away, does the acceleration icon go off of the villain at that point in time? I don't know. I might have targeted coordinated effort a little bit more at that point if it would have removed the acceleration icons. Not that it made a whole lot of difference in the end there. The other question is at that one point in time, Craven was stunned. I assume at that point his forced response doesn't go off. That would make the activation icon move between the villains. I think I also missed earlier on when one of the villains schemed. I should not have moved the activation icon over to the other villain because I think that only happens at the point that they attack. So I need to remember that next game. Didn't even get to the second part of Light at the End of the Tunnel, but I was really kind of drew bad as Miles Morales there, I think. Probably could have made some other choices, and maybe like even getting Ghost Spider out, I don't know, would have helped me. I was really debating that at that point in time. Maybe I should have gotten her out, but I don't think it made much difference. So I was looking at my next round would have been a great one. I could have done a web shot. That would have done 4, 6. I could have probably taken out Electro. That would have gotten rid of that. I would have had another villain come out, which is kind of meh. Could have done Arachnobatics, which actually Arachnobatics would have been, wouldn't have been a takeout move because he didn't have any statuses on him at that point in time. It had only done 2, so not all that great. Could have gotten Dum Dum Dugan out. Spider-Woman would have been 1 cheaper with my government liaison out there. And if I could have gotten a Confuse off on Electro, she would have been even cheaper. I could have potentially paid just 1 to get her out there. So if I would have done it's my camouflage that throws the Confuse out there. Yep. So I could have done I could have forwarded with Spider-Man, done my defense mechanism, paid 1 to get Spider-Woman out there. That would have been really cool. Then could have done some other stuff. Oh, okay. What could have been? What could have been? Just didn't happen that way because, as it is with one-player games, Advance. Worst card in the deck. So there we go. That's our, just so we'll compare. There's the one that makes everybody cringe when you're playing solo, but here we go. We've got Design Hackers card out there. There's the advance for the Sinister Six. So Doc Ock got us that time around. And he didn't even come into play. And he still got us in the end. Dang it. All right, so if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. Rules clarifications. If you got answers to some of the questions on the rules that I got there, throw those in the comments too, and we can discuss them there. Try to figure out what the right ruling there is. I think we're going to give this a go again. Probably do it with Spider-Man again, because I think I just drew horribly with Spider-Man. It's a combination of bad drawing, combination of good drawing on the villain side. So maybe we get a better game next time when I draw more appropriately. But that's it for now. Tune in for the next Sinister Six adventure with Spider-Man, and thanks for watching.